Converting variables in Java. Now, this is not something I'd recommend you do if you can avoid it, but sometimes you simply cannot avoid it. So what do I mean by conversion? Well, if we have a string a equal to 3, as a human, we can read that as a number, that's fine, but a computer cannot. So if we try to do something like int b equal to 4, and then we said system.out.println a plus b, I think you know what would happen if we compiled it and then tried to run it. Or maybe you don't know what would happen, because we have a result of 34. And what Java's done is assume that you want to convert this 4 to a string. So it's added 3 plus 4 in the string sense and given you 34. Now you can see how this would cause issues. So what we're going to do is try and convert our string a to an integer before we run our arithmetic. So let's try int c is equal to integer, and when we put the word integer in brackets like that, we're doing what's called casting. And we're saying take the value of a and cast it as an integer. Now this is something you're going to see around the internet, and it's not wrong in and of itself, but in Java at least, if we try and add b and c, if we try to compile it, we will get an error. So, if you see this kind of thing around the internet, feel free to ignore it. What we have to do instead is say int c is equal to integer dot parse int, and then we give it our string inside of brackets. Then Java goes and does some clever calculations and works out that you can change this string to a number, gives you back the string, and now when we compile and run it, we get the correct result of 7. However, if I change my string to my name, I compile, we get no errors on compilation, but when I run it, we get this horribly long error here. And all that's saying is basically, hey man, I can't turn a word into a number because I'm not a magician. So that is how you can convert from a string into an integer. Now what if I have an integer or some other kind of thing that I want to convert to a string? Well, you will find that you can use a method called .toString. But there's a little trick here that a lot of beginners get stuck on. If we simply use it on the integer a that I've declared here, you're going to find that, let's say, string result is equal to a.toString. And you'll find this all over the internet. You'll try it out by compiling, and it will tell you integer cannot be dereferenced. Now what does that mean? Well, basically the error that you're getting is the fact that we do not have a toString method for this declaration of integer. What we have to do is declare this integer in the following way. Integer a equals 9. Now if we compile, it'll work because we now have access to the toString method. What if we have something like a double that we want to convert to string? Well, if we compiled that, it wouldn't work. So what we're going to do on the string result line is access the double class which has the .toString method, and we pass it over the actual double that we want to convert. Now when we compile, everything compiles happily. So generally, inside these classes like integer and double, you will find a toString method that can grab a primitive variable. So let's try that with integer and change this integer class. Let's compile that. That also works. There are many other kinds of conversions, but look those up as and when you need them. For now, like I said at the start of this lecture, if you can avoid this conversion situation, then by all means do.